Don't nobody move but me, man. Shout out to Doc. They keep asking me like, feel what you want. I ain't on shit, nigga, yeah, I'm in my zone. I hit her from the back cause she was stingy with the dome. While she was getting stay, her nigga blowing up her phone. They keep asking me like, feel what you want. I ain't on shit, nigga, yeah, I'm in my zone. I hit her from the back cause she was stingy with the dome. While she was getting stay, her nigga.
And we gonna go from there if it work. Yeah, it should work. Let's see. All right, there we go.
I would do anything for you. And I did. And you lie. And you cheat.
All right, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. He cheated. He lied. We got that out the way. Moving on.
On me.
He's scared of her.
I'm done with you.
Break us off that boy.
I'm done.
Y'all heard that, right? She said she was done. All right, let's keep going.
Get out.
Oh,
Get out.
Come on, man, you should leave.
I'm not leaving.
Ain't no word in the way you gonna make me leave.
You know me.
Never mind, I'm gonna go.
You know
Definitely
I
gonna
can
go.
be the devil.
All right, man. So, I asked you all to watch the movie. Hopefully you did. Let me stop myself while I'm thinking about it. I got a few shout outs to give. Shout out to TMB, Trust None, and Rico for the song on my last video. Shout out for Raekwon for making all my graphics, the taglines. If you need him to do something for you, you can find him on Facebook at Raekwon Banks. Shout out to Diamond Ray for making a cartoon photo of me using that ugly picture. No, I was just playing. Thank you, Half Pint. And also, I want to give a shout out to Jake. He basically produced all this and made it happen because I don't know what I was doing. But, all right, back to the movie. So, just give a synopsis of the movie. Shout out to Tyler Perry, too. So, they met each other in college. They started dating. From day one, there were signs and red flags that she was crazy. I don't know why he didn't pay attention to him, but that's neither here nor there. So they ended up dating. He cheated on her. They still got married. They went on in life. He promised her all these things. He said, I'm going to do this. I got an invention I'm working on. I'm going to sell it to Prescott. I'm going to be rich, which he did deliver on. But for her, I don't know. So she made it seem as if though he was a con man, he was a tormentor, like he did all these crazy things. And, you know, I just, hey, y'all, I just don't understand because he didn't. Like, he told you that he would get you a penthouse apartment overlooking, I don't know if it was a lake, a ocean, a pond, whatever it was. He did that. Yeah, she mortgaged her mom's house to help him pay for something, which he did not ask for. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. He never asked for anything that she paid for. He never once said, hey, can you pay for this? She offered. And somebody told me before, you know, you just accept your blessings, you know, you don't turn them down. So that took place. And then what else? Oh, yeah. She mortgaged her mom's house. He didn't ask her to do that either, but he ended up buying it back and giving her $10 million. And she still wasn't happy. I don't they got like the what is it, the genetic manipulation stuff going on now? She could have bought it under him. They could have raised it in a lab somewhere, and I don't know, people crazy. But I want y'all, man, y'all ain't even commenting. So I want y'all to comment and let me know, like, who you think was wrong, because I think that she was crazy, and there were signs that she was crazy from the first time they met, like he bumped into her in the rain and she just took off and started hitting him. Like, that's a red flag. Like, I mean, she could have just got mad and been like, you know, forget you or something, but she took off on that chump. What y'all think, man? I don't want to talk to myself. Y'all better say something, because I've been in here eating these mints. Like, y'all can smell my breath and y'all can't. I'm nervous too, so. What y'all think? Just watching the movie, there are plenty of lessons in this movie. I think one of the biggest lessons was that keep your family and friends out your business. Like, I mean, especially with relationships, because the reality is, if it's you and a significant other, like, you two will forgive each other. Your family won't. I mean, that's just the reality. So, like, I think that if she, like she said, if she wanted to let her sisters play such a big role in what she had going on, I think they would have lasted. Let her sisters play. She said it sound. So Diamond says it sounds like your description of the movie is biased. Please explain, but I will be honest, it is a little biased because I got my own perspective on a lot of those type of movies, but I mean, it's not biased because that's the truth. Like, she was crazy. I mean, and if you gonna sit here and tell me she wasn't crazy, I hate to think less of anybody. I'm just not that type. But we're gonna have to have a conversation about that because, like, hold on, I got some notes. Let me see. Oh yeah, so like, even with everything that took place, like, she didn't take responsibility for anything. So, like, she was painted as being like this angel, like she just didn't do nothing wrong. I mean, that's the way the movie was, but in reality, like, come on. Like, I know that. Oh, put the topic on the feed. Hold on. Let me see that. Yep, I'm finna do it right now. I got you. My bad, y'all. All right, how about now? So we talking about the movie Acrimony. I kind of jumped ahead. I don't think I said that, but whatever. We talking about the movie Acrimony. So I asked everybody to watch it between Wednesday and today, which is Sunday, and I started at 7:38. It's been 8 minutes already. That's crazy. But yeah. So I'm asking people's opinions. And Diamond says the only time the man took responsibility was when he got money. I don't know, because like, yeah, I think he should have did more as far as, you know, getting a job and stuff like that. But I mean, what's going on, Keith? But like, I think she painted him worse than what he really was. Okay, what you think? Tell me what you think. Okay, so Jahan says he wasn't wrong. He was trying, and that's what I'm saying. Like, he tried, but not only did he tried until he executed. Then once he executed, listen. So at the moment he won, it was $75 million that he got. The first thing he did was he went to her job. No, let me back up. The first thing he did was went and bought her mother's house back that she mortgaged. Then he went to her job, gave her $10 million. the deed to her mother's house. I mean, like, he delivered exactly what he said he would, but it just was without her, because even when they went into the divorce mediation, he asked her, he said, don't do this. And she still said, no, like, it's over. So, like, then when she seen that money, I don't know if it made him look different or it altered her thoughts. I don't know what it was. What y'all think? Yeah, them sisters, they were miserable. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, when it comes to relationships and family has no place in relationships. I don't care if it's mom, dad, brother, right hand, left hand, whoever. So you just got to make sure, like, I don't know, just don't have them conversations. Like, I'm just not up to talk to anybody about my significant other but them, because, I mean, everybody else's opinions don't matter. She shouldn't have. John says she shouldn't have listened to her family. She should have stayed down until the come up. And that's what's real. She should have stayed down until the come up, because when he came up, life looked a whole lot different. All the mistakes he made, well, let me take that back, because the mistake he made was he cheated. I think that, yeah, he maybe could have worked a little bit harder on getting jobs and stuff like that, but the mistake he made was cheating. And once she saw what it looked like after he delivered on what he'd been telling her for, 20 years, however long it was, she had to change her thoughts. And Juanisha said she wanted him back when he got rich. Yeah. She take my money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a trifling. And don't get me started. DTT says people don't believe ambition until they see results. Yeah, and for all my entrepreneurs and business folk, he just made a valid statement. That's true. Like, your ambition and what you put in is important. There's a book that you all should read. It's called The Great Game of Business. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you should check that book out. And DTT, it says, hell, money talks. It sure do. That's what I'm saying. And Juanisha says, how long was she supposed to stay down? It was 20 plus years. I mean, my thoughts on that is she should have stayed down as long as it took, because for the level of ambition and how much he put into that, he had a belief that it would happen. But remember, before they got divorced, he said that Prescott offered him $800,000. He declined because he knew what the worth of his battery was. So she should have took that information, and not saying he was lying. And if she would have took that and kept that and stuck with it, she would have been there, because he told her that I got to offer $800,000. That was prior to the divorce and everything. So, Diamond says, yes, he tried to fix things at the end, but he kept screwing up throughout the whole movie to the point where anybody would want to divorce him. I just sounded slow. But Diamond, so can you give me, like, details on his screw-ups? Because the one that I saw was he cheated. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but that is the mistake I saw. So Jahan says, so that's her husband. It's for rich or poor. And Jahan also says, if you don't believe in your man, then who will? So Jahan, the answer to that is, if you don't believe in your man, somebody else will. And that's just real. But that's not just for man. That's vice versa. So what you won't do, somebody else will. Like that, I truly believe that. I've seen it to be true. Like, it is what it is. Tasia says, I feel like he did use her in the beginning. How so? You talking about probably when he bought that car? Well, when she bought the car? Elaborate a little bit more on that for me. And Juanisha says he could have helped more. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he could have did a little more than what he was doing. DTT says trust and loyalty doesn't have a time limit. It does not. Trust is one of those things that's easy to lose and hard to get back. They should last forever. I think those two go hand in hand, like they are like embedded in one another. And then Juanisha says 2 jobs. Yes, Arissa, I'm doing my first session. I hope you can hear that. Okay, so Sierra says he could have at least got a job. He did have odd jobs, but she said they didn't pay very well. He did have odd jobs here and there. Juanisha says she was being the husband and wife. How? I mean, they didn't have no kids. So, I mean, it's definitely different when you married with children. They were married without children. Sierra says at least cooked a cooked meal. If she paid all the bills, he could have cleaned up. Juanisha says, hell, wash the dish. I mean, I don't oppose to those. He could have washed the dish. But if he anything like I am, as a man, you don't want me washing no dishes. I'm going to just say that. So every time I get a house, it got to have a dishwasher. That is mandatory. Sierra says 5 hours an hour don't count. Hey, man, listen. It is what it is. Whether it's 5... Listen. $5 an hour counts because he could be making $0 an hour. Diamond says he made her lose an important client just for his own personal gain. Like you said, there was red flags on both ends of the relationship. Hold on, because that's new. I didn't see that. What client? I mean, I think my thoughts was that she was like, she had some underlying issues. I think that mental health, so let's pause. Mental health in the black community is important. If you think you're dealing with mental health, I strongly advise you to seek help. Go see somebody, go talk to somebody. No, that does not make you crazy. What makes you crazy is, well, the definition of insane is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Okay, so like I was saying, yeah, there were red flags on both ends. I say she was already angry, so there had to been something. I think that there was a lot bottled up in her, and it all just came out via the marriage. I think that she had stuff from even her early childhood, because remember I said the first time they met, he bumped into her, and she just took off. Like, she just, pop, pop, Minka, Maka, just took off on him. Chichi Rodriguez says, hey, Miss Young, the level of disrespect. Arissa, thank you, appreciate it. So Tasia says, yeah, she kept giving him money, and didn't she sell her mom's house? Yes, she did. But I said this earlier, you might have missed it. All the money that she gave out, he didn't ask for any of it. Like, that was legit. Like, even with college, he's like, I don't know how I'm going to finish. I don't have the money. I don't have any more loans or whatever he said. And she was like, well, how much is it? He told her, and she's like, well, and ended up paying it. He never said, hey, can you pay for my last semester of college? I don't remember if he said, could you buy me a car? But from my memory, I don't remember him asking her to buy anything. So Jamie says, just tuning in, what we talking about? We're talking about the movie Acrimony. So Sierra says, a man that don't work, don't eat. Well, Sierra, a woman that don't work, don't eat either. How about that? I mean, but he looked well fed to me. He bigger than I am, 128 pounds. He was at least 228. Who else? Christavian. Christavian says the movie was very interesting. When he got good and she divorced him, he tried to get back with her. As I forestated, she ain't want him. Now he living big and she want to come back into his life. So I'm going to sing it again. She take my money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a trifling. Hold on, we might have a call. Hello? Oh, we got my Asia Quince on the line. What's going on, my Asia?
Press 2. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
What's going on, my Asia?
How you know it's me?
Huh?
How you know it's me?
You said your name.
Oh. You alright?
Yes.
No, you're not.
They can hear you.
Oh, for real? Wait, I just got seeing it right now on the screen.
Yeah. What's up? What you got? What's your thoughts?
Oh, wait. Okay, so I just wanted to say that, well, my name is Naija Cliff, and I don't agree with, what's her name?
Melinda.
No, not the character name.
Taraji?
What's her real name?
Who?
Taraji P. Henson. There we go. There we go. I don't agree with her character in the movie. Not even, there we go. Yeah, I don't agree with her as a character.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, why
in
not?
my opinion, when, as a woman, if you sit up here in a relationship with a man, it comes with having those, I guess, how do I say it? It comes with having those responsibilities of basically taking care of home. In my opinion, that's what it is. Okay, my man, he's going to go to school. I can pay for his schooling. Why? Because what am I doing? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let me say this. I don't agree with him doing absolutely nothing. Now, I get if he's going to school, but at the same time, he could have delivered more than what he was delivering, if that makes sense. Like, I think he could have did a little more work. Maybe like Juanisha said, wash them dishes, whatever. I mean, something. That makes sense?
I mean, I understand that, but as a woman, you need to take care of your household as well. So I get the whole, you should at least wash the dishes if you ain't doing anything outside of just going to school, but...
Yeah, I mean, because she was working 2 jobs. She was. Like, I think as far as taking care of the house, she did that. I think she messed up when she let her sisters into her house, if that makes sense. That makes sense?
Oh, yeah, of course it makes sense. I'm sorry, I was watching the video. If I turn it off, probably I'll be,
There you go,
I'll be
yeah.
able to respond faster.
There you go.
Turn it off. But no, yeah, honestly, with the whole her sisters having an opinion about that stuff, you don't sit up here, but okay, I'm going to put myself in her shoes. I've been in a situation where I'm not going to put my family members, I'm not going to tell them all of the negative things that's going on in my household and not let them know about the good things. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm sitting up here telling all of my sisters, oh, he don't do this, all he does is just work on his business that's going to try and get us to be successful in the future. And I'm working 2 jobs and I don't have, like, basically all the support that I feel like I need at home. I'm not going to be telling everybody in my family all that so they can have a negative outlook on him. Why? Because this is my husband, this is my man, this is who I'm going to be spending the rest of my life with. So maybe that wasn't her idea of him in the first place. Maybe she really didn't have no faith in what he really had going on because, hell, if you did, I'm not sitting up here telling my family members, me, myself, I done been in I would say I have been in an abusive relationship. They didn't know anything about that. Why? Because guess what? My agent was still going to parlay and be in this man's face.
So
it didn't work out like that. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, I get that. I think for me personally, when it comes to relationship and family, those are two different things. It's almost like not mixing business with pleasure. So I won't mix the pleasure. I won't mix the pleasure or the negative parts of my relationship with family. I mean, of course, they'll see the upsides if it comes to like marriage or something like that, because that's one of those things like you can't hold. But other than that, there's no dialogue about what Kevin and whomever has going on. Like, we're just not going to talk about that. That's not a conversation. It's not up for debate. It's not up to be criticized. It's just not a conversation I'm have.
I like that. Yeah, I follow that. Yeah, we agree on that part.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kill a lot with that. I'm the type of person I like to be proactive instead of reactive. So by shutting that down, soon as the conversation is tempted to get started, you're able to stop a lot more ahead of time, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah. I mean, this relationship right now, my family don't know why I'm still not with this man. I'm like, well, because I didn't tell y'all nothing necessarily negative about him. That's why y'all feel like, well, why ain't you ain't with him? Well, this is why. So,
all right.
I get what you're saying.
Okay, I got somebody else on the other line. So if you add some comments, I'll read them. Hello?
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing much. I just wanted to talk about this topic, man.
All right, go ahead. Talk your sus.
Okay, so what I was saying first, when he was just like, he used her as his first option in everything that he needed to have done as far as money wise. Like, he didn't think about getting a job or anything like that. He just first went to her always.
I mean,
man, I just like,
okay, but look at it from this perspective, right? So they were married, correct?
Right.
So any conversation, whether it's financial, I had a stressful day, I'm dealing with an underlying illness, whatever it is, those are going to be conversations we'll have as husband and wife, correct? So, I mean, you can't really, I would say you can't really stop that. Like, that's a conversation that's going to happen. But what I was saying was, he never once said, hey, I don't have enough money to finish my last semester of college. Can you pay for it? He never said that. She offered. And, I mean, like,
he kind of was, like, implying that that's what he needed. Like, that's, like,
he did.
He never rejected her in no type of way, or he never was like, okay, you know what, you go this far and I'll meet you halfway. He never did.
He didn't. But you got to remember, what was his mind set on? His mind was set on selling that battery to Prescott and hitting it big. And he believed that with everything in him. So he kept saying, hey, once I do that, I'll repay you for everything that you spent, everything that you've done. And even though she still divorced him, he delivered on that. So, like, I mean, that's...
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I think it was a 50-50 with both of them and how they handled the situation. I think he was wrong in certain areas, and then the way that she handled things. I mean, but the way that he was acting is, kind of what, led her to be the way that she was. And then I did think that it was really dumb of her to want to try to be back with him once she did find out that he was a millionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, Smokey wasn't applying himself. Because he could have did a lot more than what he was doing. Like, he had come home, work on that battery. Like, he could have worked a third shift job, he could have stood on the corner and collected quarters. I don't care, but I think he could have did more than what he did.
Yeah, but I just don't like how people try to make it seem like,
She was crazy, though. She was crazy.
Yeah, huh?
She was crazy.
I mean, I think she did have some mental issues, which that's why she was going to a therapist, and she was talking to the lady. Eventually, after
that was court ordered,
what?
Cause the nigga was crazy. She didn't really have a choice. But I think if
he made her like that though.
Really?
I think so. Some of the stuff that he did, it just was like he kind of like pushed her there.
I mean,
yeah.
But really,
all he cared about was his battery. All he cared about was selling that battery. So I don't honestly, from the movie and what I think, I don't really think. I think he cared about the relationship because I feel like she was helping him get to each point that he had reached. It was her that was helping him, and but the way he went about stuff, it was like he only cared about one thing,
And what was that? The battery?
Yeah.
I say the thing he cared about was hitting the big on the battery to deliver to her everything he promised her. So that made making that battery work by any means necessary a priority because he promised her all these things. I would say he's honorable because he made those promises and he delivered. Like, people don't do that. Like, that's not a common thing. Like, and then even when he delivered that, but that's not an excuse to not pay your wife any attention, not care so much about the marriage or anything like that, just because once I get to where I'm gonna get, it's gonna all be better. No, like we need to be able to handle our situations, and they definitely didn't have any good communication skills at all. Oh no. Well, yeah. There's a lot that they could have worked on. Communication, absolutely. But I feel like as a man, like I think he cared for her. I think that when he said, Mel, I love you, I'll always love you, he meant that. I mean, because if you look at even during the divorce mediation, he asked her not to get a divorce. I mean, he delivered. I mean, and he was just like, and then even when he ran into the girl again that he cheated on, once he was married, she's like, oh, you still want? He's like, I'm not going to cheat on my wife. So that let me know that he respected her. So. But
then, didn't he get with the lady that he cheated on her with?
Yeah, but that was after she divorced him.
I mean, but, okay. So that makes it better. Oh, you get divorced. But it was the same woman that you cheated on me with, and then you go and get with the bitch. Oh, I'm sorry.
But like, listen, it didn't matter because she divorced him. So what you do after a divorce or after a breakup, it don't matter. Oh man.
It matter, but okay.
Oh man, nah, because once you sign your name on that dotted line or say it's over, what he did no longer concerned her. I mean, and then again, like I said, that's her fault because she wanted the divorce. He said, "Don't do this." She like, "Nah, it's over."
It's disrespectful though. Very disrespectful. One thing to cheat and then you gonna be with this lady too? Okay, wow.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I just got one more thing to talk about, and then I'm just gonna let you go.
Okay.
So when your previous caller was on the phone with you, and she was saying how you two were saying like your relationship with your significant other versus your relationship with your family and stuff like that, it should never go together. It's like mixing business and pleasure. But I think it depends, like, on certain things, because I feel like, okay, a woman could be in a domestic relationship and, she's not, communicating with anybody at all, letting them know, like, this is what's going on, this is happening. She may be trying to escape that situation, and sometimes, when you don't have your family to go to, because sometimes your family isn't necessarily telling you, they don't like people just because they don't like them or anything like that. And us, love is blind. And once you in love, you do all type of crazy stuff. You don't see stuff that you normally would see from the outside looking in. And they could, I don't know, like, it could go bad. And
I think I get where you're going, but the reality about that is that whether it's that situation or not, that person is gonna do what they want to do until they get tired of it. So, I mean, you can if that's what you like to do, to talk to your family to get an opinion on this person. Do you think it's a good matchup? Whatever. I mean, that's cool. Mm-hmm. I just think throughout the relationship, the things that you all go through, like, I think that's between y'all. I mean, you can absolutely get a confidant. I think I might have said that wrong, but I wouldn't look at that to be somebody in the family, because they're always going to have a biased opinion. They're always going to be on your side. There will never be you want to talk to somebody that has a neutral ground, that says, I'm not on your side, I'm not on their side. They'll be the neutral party. So then you can get a valid response instead of opinion-based bias response, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Any more questions, comments, concerns?
Nope. That's it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I'm back. So, my bad. Okay, so we're gonna do calls to 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So Tyrone says she should have listened to her family more of the story. Don't let your family that's looking from the outside determine how you feel about a person. She could have handled everything a different way. Okay, she meant she shouldn't have listened to her family. And that's exactly what we were just talking about. Like, it's okay to have a confidant. It's okay to have a person that you confide in, that you go to for advice, that you think is a mentor, a guider. They have wisdom, great knowledge. They've been here before. They've been through a marriage or a divorce or whatever. That person, those qualities that person have, whatever they are, that's great. But like I was saying, the person you talk to should be somebody other than family, instead of somebody in the family, because they'll always have a biased opinion. Except me, because I try not to be biased. Like, when my family come talk to me about stuff, I try my hardest not to be biased, but at the same time, it's like, this is still my sister or whatever, so I try to be the middle ground in everything I'm doing. Like, if anybody talks to me about anything, I just try to be the middle ground, and I try to get people to see things from different perspectives. Because the thing about us is, we're all human. We all have a different perspective. We all have a different moral compass. We were all raised different. We all have different values. We all have different beliefs. So something that may be offensive to you may not be offensive to somebody else. So I'm going to catch everybody up. If you're just now tuning in, we're talking about the movie Acrimony. I was asking who's right, who was wrong. We were talking about anger issues. We were talking about him maybe using whatever. Juanisha still says she's biased. I think as you should be. But that's neither here nor there. There was a comment I want to mention out of the movie. She said, it was kind of like a narration scene. She said, what type of man takes advantage of a girl who's grieving And I'ma just say it. He didn't. She hot. He was leaving to go home. He was walking. And she's like, "Oh no, Robert, I give you a ride home." And he like, "No, Mel, it's okay." She like, "No, really, I'll give you a ride home." So she ended up giving him a ride home. Then when they got to his house, he got out to go in the house. So this is where, a girl that looks and seems innocent, but she ain't. So she like, "Can I come in?" And he like, "If you want to." So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then it was turned around in her mind that he was taking advantage of her because she was grieving. How? Like, in whose world? Wayne's world? Because not in the real world. Like, I don't know. I'm crazy. Either I'm crazy or she crazy. It's one of the two. Oh yeah. So then I wanted to hit on this. We were talking about communication. So communication is a two-way street, or is it up to the man or woman to maintain contact? That's a question. I say it's a two-way street. And in relationships, I'm the type of person, I am cognitive. I pay attention to the type of statements my significant other would use when describing us. So I pay attention to the I's and we statements. In my mind, those make a big difference, because if it's always I, that's implying that you almost want to be alone, one, or two, your communication skills need to be improved. So me, I'm always the type to say we, or if I say I literally mean I. Like, I'm not sharing, we can't do this together, no, you can't come, none of that. So if I use we, that's all inclusive, if that makes sense. So again, the question is it up to the man or woman to maintain contact, or is it up to both? Drop your comments in the comment section. Man, woman, or both. Lord have mercy. Oh, I'm going to call you back. Yes. That's my daughter. Yes, she's at Juanisha's. Okay. So, what was I asking? Man, oh yeah, absolutely. Janiqua says both. Absolutely. Because if, we dating and we live together or whatever, we playing hocus pocus, duck goose, whatever we doing, communication is absolutely up to both of us. Like, I'm not gonna be calling and texting you all day, every day. And I'm a little bit of a busy guy. Like, I can be busy. I try to keep myself busy because that's the way you stay out of trouble, and I like to make money. I don't know many people who don't. But there will be days where, I may lag on communicating back or initiating communication. So in relationships, for me personally, I look for a partner. And when I say partner, that's somebody that can pick up or recognize my weaknesses and what's the word I'm looking for? They can recognize my weaknesses and be, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but in other words, they can recognize where I lack and they can pick up where I'm lacking at, if that makes sense. There was something else I wrote down. My handwriting's terrible. I write like a toddler. Oh, so after watching the movie like 8 times, I came to this conclusion that I think she was just controlling. I think that she had a control issue and a possessiveness issue because when he became rich is when the problems really came in. Like, I mean, that's when things got bad. That's when she started stalking. She was trying to kill them folks. Excuse me, and all that. Once he got rich, she wanted possession again. Like, they pulled up to their sister's house because the sisters was warning them and saying, hey, I think y'all need security at y'all wedding. And Melinda pulled up. Diana and Robert got in the car to leave. She's like, oh, why you got that bee in my car? And da-da-da. It's not her car. And again, this is where I point back to mental health because, like, at this point, she was making stuff up in her mind that was untrue. And for me, I'm the type of person that says you can't negotiate with crazy. And she crazy. It ain't much you can do about that. I don't know. And I was saying also, after he gave her $10 million, I mean, what else could you ask for? Janiqua says, I don't think it was a control thing. I think it was more so she felt like he owed her. I'm finna take my shoes off because I'm getting hot now. Hold on. That's it right there. How did he owe her? He gave her, he got $75 million. He gave her $10 million. He bought her mom's house back. I think the estimate of what she spent overall was like $1-some million. I think that was the estimate. So what more did he owe her? That's my question for you, Johnny Cool. What more could he owe her? After he paid her $10 million, he gave her mom's house back, deed and all. And I'm sure he paid well over market value for that house because I'm sure somebody owned it who probably wasn't interested in selling it. So he probably had to offer them $1 million or something just to get it. So what more did he owe her? His life? I mean, I think that's Ben Zweifel says, how did you set this up, like with the graphics floating? Man, my producer did it. I am not competent enough to manage pulling something like that off. I would have messed it all up. So, and as I was watching the movie 8 times, I was paying attention to after the divorce and everything went down and she started dating the light-skinned bald-head dude. I don't remember his name. But I noticed she did a lot of comparing to what she had with Robert that, remember, she wanted to let go of. So I just say you can't move on and look for what you had in the next person. It's not going to happen. Like, you literally have to start with a new slate and say, hey, okay, so how I start is I go in with no expectations. Like, I don't have an expectation when getting started. Now, when things get a little more serious, then I have expectations. But the expectation is not for you to be like what I had, because clearly there was a problem with what I had because I don't have it anymore. That's another conversation, another topic for another day. And speaking of topics, if y'all have topics y'all want to talk about, feel free to drop those in the comments and we can talk about those. So Janiqua says, I'm not saying he owed her. I'm saying that's how she felt. She went through a lot of bad with him, and after they ended things, that's when what they went through played off. Wait. I'm a little slow. I got to read that again. Okay, I'm not saying he owed her. I'm saying that's how she felt. She went through a lot of bad with him, and after they ended things, that's when what they went through played off. Oh, so you mean there was a lot bottled up, and after they ended, everything they went through just came out and she kind of exploded? Is that what you said? Oh, paid off. Paid. Oh, okay. After they ended things, that's when what they went through paid off. All right. So I am a big on context clues. So let's remember, they didn't end anything. She ended that. He asked her to stay on multiple occasions. He was working out as a cook. He was making filet mignon or whatever they was making, and he left his job to go to the mediation. Then he told her that I can't afford a lawyer, and he's like, Mel, please don't do this. I still love you. I could be lying, but I think he said that. So let's remember that they didn't end anything. She ended that. And now she looking back like a pillar of salt. That's Chance the Rapper line, by the way. All right, any more comments, questions? Anybody got topics they interested in talking in? Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, so I got a little ticked off when she brought home the $10 million check and she showed it to her sisters. The first thing one of the sisters said, well, let's call the bank before they close to make sure it's valid. Melinda's like, I already did. And then the other sister says, we ain't never had that type of money. Out of the way, hold on, heifer. What you mean we? Because we still ain't got that type of money. I got that type of money. And that's where I was saying that you got to keep your family out your business, because she used the possessive term we. So that implies that he gave that $10 million to not just Melinda, he gave it to them. No, that was for her. Like, they were married, not y'all. You like it or you don't. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. And I'm gonna shine on me until my heart stop. Go ahead and envy me. Yeah, that song. Like, you like it or not. Like, I'm here and we playing basketball. It is what it is. All right. We about at our hour. So, thank you all for tuning in. Please look out for more conversations. And again, if you have any topics, any concerns, anything you think would be a good topic to talk about, feel free to let me know. Again, please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. This will be on YouTube, so you can watch it later. And I mean, if you watch it tomorrow and you feel like I was wrong and I had you bent, we can still talk about it. But yeah, if you got anybody have any more comments, concerns, before I end it. I'm going to wait until it hits an hour, then I'm going to end it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Much love. Y'all make me feel all different inside, you know. That's what's up. I appreciate y'all. I'm sleepy anyway. I'm old time. I'm getting old. Alright. Got like 10 seconds. If you got anything else you want to say, last call for alcohol. Alright, again, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for Conversations with Kev. Again, much love to all the people that helped, the people that made this happen, the graphic designers, you all that tuned in, gave feedback. Again, like, share, subscribe on YouTube. I will be doing more content, but please, 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 if you have any ideas, anything you interested in talking about, stuff you think needs to be talked about, let me know. We'll talk about politics, municipal level, government level, what's going on in the community, everything, relationships, you name it. Alright, y'all.
I'm on a mission. I had to stack my cheese up and I ain't do it with ease, but I got my sack up, I had to get it. I went and got off my ass and went and got me a bag. Now it ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission. I had to stack my cheese up and I ain't do it with ease, but I got my sack up, I had to get it. I went and got off my ass and went and got me a bag. Now it ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission. I had to stack my cheese up and I ain't do it with ease, but I got my sack up, I had to get it. I went and got off my ass and went and got me a bag. Now it ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission. Oh no, I ain't quitting. State to state, gotta handle more business. I go hard, I don't have no time to kick it. Ain't used to really having nothing, now we really live. My favorite place is the bank, baby. Me and you are different. Take a trip to where I stay. Let me show you how I'm living. Yeah, you attractive. Tell me, do you have a vision? Then we can link, but I ain't really trying to kick it. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Get up in my car, lay back while I whip it. Baby, get you with it. I need to know you with it. Either way it's going, I'm still going with it. I'm on a mission. I had to stack my cheese up and I ain't do it with ease, but I got my sack up, I had to get it. I went and got off my ass and went and got me a bag. Now it ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission. I had to stack my cheese up and I ain't do it with ease, but I got my sack up, I had to get it. I went and got off my ass and went and got me a bag. Now it ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission. Stack my cheese up, I had to get it. Got off my ass, got me a bag. It ain't nothing to ask, I'm on a mission.